What's up guys, it's Btd6 here. We got something a bit different today. We got Btd6, which is pretty fun. And here we are going to be showing all of you guys a cool 2-tower chimp strategy that I learned a while back. On the map, Resort. I just figured I'd share this. So you want to place your wizard right about there. And then he will handle for a little while. You're gonna upgrade him to intense magic and then fireball and wall of fire. He's handling himself pretty well. Fireball is gonna give him that extra damage. And ability to pop bullets, which will be good for DDTs later on. And so far we're starting off pretty strong. It looks like it's not going too well, but it is. Wall of Fire is gonna save us a ton of time though. That is probably gonna carry us for a little while until we get our second tower. Which for a second tower we need to save up a bit. So pretty standard start with just a Wizard Monkey soloing for a little while, then Wall of Fire. Yeah, that handles round 12 and round 13 pretty easily. Which is no surprise whatsoever since Wall of Fire Wizard Monkey is OP. Then Monkey Sense for later on when we see camos. And then we have kind of two options here. Either we can go for Shimmer or we can continue saving up for a tower that we're going to choose. I'm probably going to save up for the tower we're going to choose because Shimmer isn't really going to do all that much. First right now, and we're just kind of hanging along just fine. And we will eventually get Shimmer because we're going bottom path Wizard. So here we go. We got a Super Monkey. Now here's where the fun begins. 2 towers, Super Monkey, Wizard. Pretty interesting combo. I saw this on a video a while back. And it does work still. So what we're actually gonna do is save up a bit right now. Like we're just saving right now. Pretty much. We should get Shimmer, but we kinda are just fine for now. So as you can see, we're just kinda breezing along. Eventually we want the Necromancer, the 5th tier Necromancer. So Shimmer, get that in play. And so far, we're still cruising along. This doesn't really give us much of an advantage, though, because of what we're going to do with our Super Monkey. It will give us an advantage, though, because we're going for Bottom Path Wizard. Save up for a bit as it is right now. We should handle round 40 pretty easily. Then buy Ultra Vision on Super Monkey. And then we're not actually gonna go longer range, we're actually gonna go laser blasts. And the reason for that is so we can pop leads, but also it's a stronger tower. So now I think you probably know what we're gonna be going for right now. That is Bottom Path Wizard and Bottom Path Super Monkey. Look, this Moab gets decimated by the Plasma Blasts. And then we can kind of just start saving up. Dark Knight will be extremely helpful for the one, but first we're gonna get Necromancer. So now we have enough money for Necromancer, and that can kind of just carry us for a while. Honestly, that's gonna be like our main powerhouse for a while. That and Prince of Darkness. You only need to use 150 on this 2TC, which is wild. So now, instead of going Prince of Darkness, we're gonna save up for Dark Knight. And then later we're gonna get Prince of Darkness and then get Dark Champion. So right now we're kind of handling these rounds pretty well. Now we have Dark Knight, which does a lot of good for us for a while. Pretty much the threat. These two are gonna be doing like a butt ton of damage. Like the Necromancer is gonna slow stuff down for a while. We're going Bottom Path Super Monkey because it can throw those like things that it throws, and it can also like teleport. So if you struggle against round 98 or round 100, you can just teleport over there once you get Dark Champion, and that should clean up round 100 for you. This is one of the, if not the easiest 2TC, I believe. And we're doing this on Resort because these guys work really well together on Resort. So look at that. The Moab, as soon as it gets to Dark Knight, it just gets decimated. Wizard, it's getting those early damage on the balloons out. And once it gets Prince of Darkness, it should be able to get most of the balloons, and then once it gets to Dark Knight, it should take care of it. So I think we will actually get Prince of Darkness before round 60, which should be really helpful. So yeah, it makes like some cracks in the Moab, and then the Dark Knight kind of just finishes that off. So now we're about $10,000 away. We just kind of gotta keep cruising along. Yeah, look at those ceramics. And both of these will be able to see camel, no doubt. But so DDTs later on will be like not a huge problem. You may have to do a couple retries in the later rounds though. So we're just cruising along right now. Like, we don't need any upgrades for a little while. We're just kind of saving up and getting past these mid-game rounds pretty easily with a 4th tier and a 3rd tier. Okay, so I was a bit off for round 60, but we do get it either this round or next round, depending on how much money we make. So yeah, we get it at the end of 60. So now Prince of Darkness is going to be the main powerhouse. This tower is probably going to carry most of our run for a while. It's going to summon a ton of Moabs, a ton of balloons, and it's just going to clear up most of the stuff. And that will allow us to save up for Dark Champion, which makes his ability map wide, and it also means that it does like a lot more damage. So like round 64 is a pretty easy round for this combo, which most times round 64 is like, I wouldn't say tricky, but not exactly easy. And this tower's just cruising along right now. Just sitting on his little throne, just summoning balloons. Yeah, like those BFBs right there. They're getting wrecked for the most part, and then Dark Knight is cleaning them up once they get over there. We won't actually get Dark Champion until later on, and that's actually gonna help us a bit. As in the later rounds, we actually will need Dark Champion. So right now, look, it's just stacking up pops. Dark Champion has like really high stats, like really high damage. Like the whole bottom path has pretty good damage for the most part, and so does Prince of Darkness. And Prince of Darkness, it kind of like slows down the balloons a bit. Oop, did not mean to set a target. Okay, how do you remove a target? Okay, there we go. We removed the target. So now we just wait, pretty much. BFBs, they're getting decimated. And so these early ceramics, well, not early ceramics, you know what I mean? And with 2 tower chimps, you also get an achievement where you do get a wizard insta-monkey, which will be really helpful. I think it's the 4th tier middle path, probably. I did this on my main account, which is the account I'm playing on, and one of my newer accounts, like really easily, first try pretty much. So this is by far one of the easiest. We just skipped a couple rounds as a pause recording. But for the most part, like nothing much happens until we get Dark Champion, because we're just kind of doing the same thing every time. The ZOMG will definitely be harder than the BFBs, like clusters, but we should still clear it with ease. Yeah, those purple rushes are annoying, but they get cleared easily. The Necromancer is just sending out tons of like Moabs to counter most of the balloons, and that's actually like really high damage wise. So we're kind of just the Prince of Darkness is doing all the damage right now. Like the Dark Knight has barely gotten any damage since we first got it. So now the Xeon is getting a little bit further, and now the Dark Knight has to kind of clean it up a bit. Dark Knight cleans it up pretty easily. We should get Dark Champion by round 90-ish. Definitely before round 100 though. Doesn't really matter either way. The only reason why we want to get Dark Champion before round 100 is because of his ability where you just teleport like near the bottom half of the screen where like the little corner is by the water, in case the bad doesn't like pop fully and gets a little through, so then that's just like kind of like cleanup. But for the most part, you can kind of just leave him here. And I think it's actually possible to just leave him at Dark Knight. But it does give us extra damage with Dark Champion. So yeah, now we're getting this Dark Champion this round, yeah. So now we got Dark Champion, and for the most part, we're just gonna sit here until round 100. This 2 tower chimps is like no microwave, so you don't have to spam abilities and to like manage first, last, Schwan, whatever for targeting. And you can kind of just get the upgrades naturally and just breeze on through. Most 2 tower, there are some without microwave, but there's quite a bit with microwave, which is a whole different thing, and I am not qualified enough to figure out the perfect timing on different heroes or towers or whatever. Like one of them, I heard of a Sada 1 tower chimps, which is insane. And I'm not putting in like hundreds of hours to figure out how Sada beats chimps on resorts, which I've already beaten. But if you do micromanage the abilities, it is good. But this one does not require any microing. And for the most part, it kind of just does all the work for you, does all the heavy lifting kind of. Like the Wizard Monkey does a ton of the heavy lifting, like boom. DDTs are being handled pretty easily. Yeah, now we're on the rounds where we're actually gonna go up against a ton of DDTs. Which will be fun. But also, we're kind of just gonna breeze on by pretty easily. So with the Prince of Darkness, we're only like leaking. So there were only 244,000 getting to this point, which is actually pretty good. So considering that, Prince of Darkness can probably solo for a lot of this. Except for the fact that it can't automatically attack balloons, it actually summons balloons to attack for it. So its main attack is just summoning balloons, not actually fighting them. There's another DDT rush round here, but that's gonna be handled pretty easily with Prince of Darkness, aka the Necromancer kinda. And all the DDTs just get stopped to a halt. Kinda. So round 96, it's just a ton of BFBs. Most of these radio rounds aren't too tricky up until round 98, 99, and 100. Those aren't too bad, but they do require a tad bit of microwing. I forget though. The ability, you might gotta use the ability once or twice just to make sure you pop the BAD, the bad. But besides that, it's pretty much smooth sailing. So you can pretty much just leave the game on from like round 80 and it will just kind of like you won't even have to like keep an eye on it because for the most part it will kind of just do it for you. So yeah, round 98 there was some Moabs and stuff coming through, but so yeah, we do have to use the ability here. Which we'll have to place it here, and then we'll have to place it back where it was. Just to pop some of those Moabs. So yeah, those Moabs are fairly easy to do. So if you just use ability there, then this is easy black border on resort, just only using 2 towers. And the BAD will take a lot of damage. It will go through the loop a couple times. And then you kind of just gotta put it to some, like the super monkey, like where I put it before to pop those Z emojis. But for the most part, you're set. So now I'm gonna get the ability ready. And then it will pop those DDTs and then the Z emojis. So yeah, there will be a little microing there. So I have a lot. Kind of, but it's not heavy microing. If you just use the ability perfect, like well, you won't really have to do that. So let's place it here. Get it off cooldown, and then place it back. And then it should handle those big BFBs once they come back around. Okay, we didn't time the ability right. You want to do it like when the BAD is gonna pop, kinda. So look, it's not damaged a ton yet. So here it's nearly popped, nearly. Boom. This will take a couple tries. So besides round 98 and 100, not 99, round 98 and 100, you pretty much don't really do much here. We're gonna do that so the ability comes off cooldown. So now the zombies. I forget how to do the the ability, but it does work. Eventually. you want me to do 2 tower chimps guides in the future, though, make sure to like the video. So let's share the love. And now, that's 2 TC. So you kind of just gotta time it to when the Moabs come out. And that's like free 2 tower chimps. If you liked the tutorial, please like and subscribe.